Hey guys, here with Alex Mendoza to talk about his incredible work on electricity. And this is my first time seeing this session. Um,
Yeah.
it looks awesome, Alex. What did you start with on this when you got the acapella? Where did you start?
Yeah, I think I remember starting with like I had this guitar going on. So it was kind of that throughout. And then we were kind of messing around and feeling like, okay, how do we fill this up? How do we build like kind of more of a big, I mean, the song's called Electricity, right? So we were like, we got to go big with it. So it was really building around that and kind of, I don't know, I think I remember just loving how we, kind of went through it thinking like, okay, and then when it hits like, this section here, it kind of like mellows out for a sec and
Yeah.
then it hits hard again. So like this.
Most people would call it love, but this feeling is more than that, 'cause she is electricity. Light it up, light it up, light it up, yeah. Come on, love, won't you dive right in?
So the whole thing just builds, and that's I don't know, we really latched onto that idea.
You have so many cool, small, subtle details happening in the background, Alex. Like in that pre-chorus, there's something that sounds like a steel, like a bendy guitar in the background. I've always loved those little things
Yeah.
that you do.
It's a lot of fun because I think like when you're working off an acapella too, you're kind of able to like, all right, how do I build this? How do I, you're kind of envisioning it as you go and experimenting.
Yeah.
I think was it. So that was like the strings there, but then we're also.
Oh, cool. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so we had those layers, and then up here we still had that guitar going, and there was this weird thing.
Oh, that's that guitar, dude. I always
Yeah.
wondered what that thing was. I love
Yeah.
that, man. That is a magical sound right there.
Yeah, it just kind of opens it up, and it's, I think, like, sits like well on top of the vocal. But I agree, like I love the little things in like a heavy sounding record too, because even this halfway that came in.
Oh, wow. So you do a lot of guitar
Yeah.
work, Alex, and it's all programmed. You all your
Yeah,
it's
a lot of
incredible.
it's programmed, but I also layer a lot of it with real guitar, so it gives it,
You do. I didn't
a
know
lot of
that.
it. Yeah, because even like some of the higher notes on the guitar, it's, even if I'm not playing it properly, I can go in and edit it. And having like kind of the, like I love some of the, native instrument stuff and other things that are like, but it's also like what you do with it. Like, I'm filtering out certain things, or, different compressions and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a combination of a lot, and I don't know, some synth stuff, you can kind of throw under. Just, yeah, there's no, I always feel these things, it's never much of a science. It's like just
Yeah.
whatever feels kind of good. So I experiment a lot.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
mess with the vocal at all? Are there moments where you like did vocoding on this song, or was this one straightforward?
Yeah, there was some small vocoder, but I think also you had some vocoder, like some small stuff too, right? Like I think on
Yeah.
some of the lower harmonies we
Oh,
did
that's
too.
right. That's right. So it's
Yeah.
probably in that stereo track that you have.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think all those little details were just like, that was key, like, and really getting it to sound like big and everything. And then once it's, sent to like Monty Mixdown too, he's able to like
Yeah.
expand on all those little things. So,
Is this the whole session that we're seeing, Alex? Is that everything? Or is there?
This is almost everything. A few things are condensed.
I was going to ask you about your workflow. Like, yeah, it feels like it's condensed.
Yeah, and this is one session. Like we had so many other versions of like different sessions, but like this was like, you know, you go through like some of these are different chord ideas. Some of them are just, yeah, sometimes I'll do it in MIDI and then chop it up and then mess with it that way. You know, reverse certain things like, yeah. So this is all my messy experimenting.
I see a lot of Serum, the plugin. I've never used it. I've always been curious, but what is your favorite thing about Serum?
I think Serum's nice because you can really, and a good amount of synths do this, but what's nice is like when you get that grit on like some bass stuff or whatever, like I'll layer it with like an acoustic electric bass, but then also putting in like a synth bass underneath is really nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it really just depends. And, you know, that's similar to how we did like Somewhere There's Light On, where it's like you really have like the layers and you don't want to crowd it. But like if you have an 808 going, you know, you're not going to put like a deep bass, but maybe you put a bass that sits, you know, in the mid range kind of. So yeah, so it's really all over the place, but I just gotta love experimenting.
That's awesome. So I see like Oliver snare retro, like, is that all the same snare, or are you like layering different versions of that snare?
No, so this is a splice sample that I really liked. And so I have like some different EQs.
So are you EQing this? You're EQing those splice snares.
Yeah.
That's amazing, Alex. That's what makes your stuff sound so much more unique, you know, because it's like when I drag something from Splice, I usually just leave it. You know what I mean? I never tweak it. And I feel like that the magic happens is tweaking that stuff.
It's a lot of little details. And I think it's like, I don't feel like, it's funny because I always feel weird because like I always, at the end of a record or when you're almost done with it, you kind of don't notice those things. I'm not like remembering like, oh, I did this to that. And that's it. But when I go back, and it's the process of like, what do I like about this snare? Okay, cool. Yeah. Now, what do I want to add? Like this one, let's see, what's this one here?
So cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so this one has like more of that high end, right? And then you have this one. Like it just brings the low end. And then when you have like the toms that go on too, it's just like everything combined becomes, you know, all over the place. But yeah.
So the guitars we were talking about a little bit sounds so good on this. I love that you're combining real guitars with the programmed. I know Contact has some great electric guitars and stuff. And do you have like a go-to for guitar? Is that your go-to, the electric Sunburst?
I like the electric Sunburst, but it depends on how it's being used, and you really have to like kind of tweak it a bit. Like I used to Valhalla stuff.
Amazing. God, I love it. Wow.
And then some other like
doing those guitar. I mean, that's amazing, Alex. That's so cool to see that because
and this is oh wow. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, wider. What is that?
Yeah, so this is, I think it's actually free. And I've been using more the
amazing
S1, the Waves one, but there's something like that this one does that's a little more chorusy and like gives a little like twang, which I really love. But again, it's like, it's always funny because it's just like, you know, experimenting and like EQing the reverbs to, you know, whatever it is like in here. That I do too, like with EQing the, you know, whether it's the distortion, the reverb, I mean, just going in using different things within the plugins is really cool.
That's so cool, Alex.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's cool to see how much time you spend on each sound, you know?
Yeah.
I always just assume when there's a guitar from Contact, like Electric Sunburst, it's already EQ'd and like reverb how it should be, you know, and it's so cool to see that. And I think that's what makes you a great producer. that you
Thanks,
do
man.
that. And
Yeah. I mean, it's, I think like I enjoy it so much that it's like, I want to get the best out of a certain sound, and whatever I have, like I'm envisioning
yeah,
is what makes it, you know,
yeah,
like I'm just very picky on,
so cool.
but yeah, it's a lot of
So,
fun.
so that's
Yeah.
all. That's electricity. That's a little brief snapshot of Alex's genius. Can we hear? Can we just hear a chorus now, knowing all that information?
Yeah, for sure.
Most people would call it love, but this feeling is more than that, 'cause she is electricity. Light it up, light it up, light it up, yeah. Come on, love, won't you dive right into me? Light it up like no other. With a blue leaf.
There's some cool throws you do in the middle on the lighted ups. It like throws, something's happening. I've
Oh,
always
right.
loved, but this just it's I just
Yeah.
love seeing this, Alex, and thank you for sharing your process here and giving us a little look into it. And
No, man. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and it's easy when the songs are as great as the ones you're writing, man. So yeah,
thanks,
it's easy to be inspired and just let the work flow, you know?
you're awesome, bro. Well, Alex
Likewise,
Mendoza,
man.
and this is Electricity. Thanks for watching, guys.